Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and if you hear a blower outside, that is because there's a blower outside. I can hear it in the background. I don't know if you'll pick it up or not, but we will proceed as we do. I wanted to show you this first before we get going. This guy said heading into 2025 we listed potential positive and negative catalysts. I wanted to show you this because all of the negative catalysts I think will be taken care of. But it's important to look at it, and so I just wanted to show it to you so you could put things in perspective. This is what this guy had put out for 2025. Let's look at the negative ones. The potential headwinds: disappointment in DC, disappointing rate cuts, macro risk, leverage blowout, meme coin mania failure, fraud, and negative headlines. We've had a little bit of just about all of that. But again, those things are temporary. The things that I'm looking at, especially on XRP, are the longer term things. Let me get the ones that apply to crypto. U.S. and international strategic Bitcoin reserves, better regulatory political climate, potentially improving macro conditions, tight supply due to Bitcoin halving, Layer 2 scaling and tech improvements, continued crypto and AI convergence, upsized allocations, 3% is the new 1%. Crypto IPOs, this is a big one that I think is coming, and new ETF launches, removal of reputational risk. Those are the big ones, and that's what's important. We do have the market still right there, almost back up over 3 trillion. XRP is at 244. Want to remind everybody, we are now in March, folks. March, April, May. XRP Las Vegas is going to be May 30th and 31st. Bitcoin Las Vegas is the 3 days before that. If you have been thinking about coming and you haven't pulled the trigger, you need to go ahead and do it. I was literally I booked a restaurant reservation this morning, okay? I'm getting ahead of the game because I know what's coming. I know how it works out there. Go to xrplasvegas.com if you want to meet any of these guys. Let's go back through them. Cody Carbone, Chris Giancarlo, Brad Garlinghouse, Simon McLaughlin of Uphold, Dr. Chris Brummer, Georgetown Doctor, Professor of Law, Kevin Maloney, CEO of iTrustCapital, Steve McClurg, Canary Capital, Austin King from Omni, Mark Otto, co-founder Monerex, Nancy Beaton, Chief Revenue Officer from Uphold, Keith Grossman, he's President Enterprise at MoonPay. Georgios Vlachos, co-founder Axelar, Dom Kwok and Phil Kwok from EZA. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan. Boone Bergsman from Web3 Industries. Paul Barron from the Paul Barron Network. He's going to be conducting interviews. You might be able to get one. And then David Schwartz. And John Deaton's on here. He wasn't on here before. John Deaton and James Murphy, Meta Lawman. Look at this. They've added new ones. Lynette Zhang from Zhang, she's the gold lady from Zhang Enterprises. Jason Cousins, Glint Pay. Andy Scheckman from Miles Franklin. Artur, I don't even know how to say his last name, from XP Market. Look at this, they've added a bunch. Jake Boyle from Caleb and Brown. I mean, golly, they've added like 7 or 8 in the last, that's crazy. Okay, now you saw that Matt Hogan is coming. Look at this. Matt Hogan is trying to back up all the Bitcoin maxi talk. Yesterday, I wrote about the proposed crypto reserve in my weekly CIO memo, looking increasingly accurate. He says, after the dust settles, I suspect the final reserve will be nearly entirely Bitcoin, and it will be larger than people think. Folks, this idealism has no place in this space, especially from a guy that's running a freaking company that has multiple digital asset ETFs. So I asked him define nearly, and I did a little write-up to illustrate the absurdity of this from a guy that's running a financial company. I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying anybody who's involved in crypto or otherwise that's in a financial company where investors are looking to invest in multiple digital assets to diversify, it's completely irresponsible to be a Bitcoin ideologue. And let me illustrate that by example. This is just a scenario I created. Imagine a scenario where the founder of Facebook was anonymous. Hypothetically, your financial advisor tells you that you should invest in only one stock, Facebook. The anonymous founder is irrelevant, and all your risk should be on Facebook shares. No diversification. That's what they tell you. That is the fantasy land that Bitcoin maxis live in. And it's both silly and dangerous. It's almost childlike. And that's not where this boat's going. Like Brad Garlinghouse said, all boats will rise. And there's a lot more to it too, folks. Listen to this. Here's CNBC propaganda machine carrying the water.
President Trump's announcement of a strategic crypto reserve, a sort of announcement, is exposing a rift among some of his biggest Silicon Valley backers. Deirdre Bosa has more in today's Tech Check. Deirdre?
Hey, Kelly. So this really exposes a deeper ideological battle within Silicon Valley's pro-Trump faction. It pits those in favor of less regulation at any cost against libertarians who see this as potential distortion of free markets against the Bitcoin maximalists who see other coins as diluting Bitcoin's narrative. Now, these tensions, they were on public display over the weekend. The administration's crypto czar, David Sachs, facing off against Joe Lonsdale, an influential ally. Lonsdale critiqued the use of taxpayer money for a U.S. crypto reserve. That put Sachs on the defense. And then you had Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, indirectly questioning the rationale behind diversifying the reserve, suggesting that a Bitcoin-only option would be the best option. You also had one of the Winklevoss twins as well coming out against it. It has also led to accusations of self-dealing among VCs that have gained influence in the White House.
The VCs have been self-dealing in Bitcoin and Ethereum and the tokens built on Ethereum for years, and Solana.
While Sachs says that he has sold his crypto positions, he's still an early investor in Bitwise, a crypto asset management firm whose top 5 holdings, you're looking at it right now, and its BITW fund, are the exact cryptos the president announced for inclusion in the reserve. Now,
all right, so there's that. Now an adult entered the room. This is the Kraken. He's the global head of policy for Kraken. Let me show you.
Now, the other news we're tracking is this announcement from President Trump that the U.S. will move forward with plans to create a strategic crypto reserve or stockpile housing a number of digital currencies. And I want your reaction to that news and what, if anything, it means for Kraken.
Look, we're encouraged to see that announcement. I think that's, a reflection of the president and this administration staying true to commitments that they announced, early last year. I think we saw, in the summer of last year, we've seen leadership from even the Senate, Senator Lummis, who now chairs the Digital Asset Subcommittee, announce a similar initiative for Congress. So, we look forward to that moving forward. I think it's going to reflect crypto as an asset class, coming into the mainstream. We've already seen that with index-linked products. Our business, CF Benchmarks, which is the world's leading index provider, which powers most of the exchange-traded products here in the U.S. and other markets, has really grown. And we think the strategic reserve is another reflection of traditional market allocation into crypto as an asset class.
Now, I'm going to go back to this because I want to drive the point home. Now, think about this for a minute. Matt Hogan has filed for an XRP ETF, and he's going to ask his customers to put money in an XRP ETF, while at the same time putting out tweets like this to discourage the United States from putting money in XRP, which would drive the price of the ETF that he's telling his customers to buy. Does that make any freaking sense to you? No. It's an alternative universe. Now, back to the Kraken guy. Look what Kraken's doing. This is what a responsible company whose customers are looking for a selection would do. Kraken introduces Crypto Strategic Reserve, a new option for your portfolio where you can buy into the reserve, and they're highlighting the digital assets that are in it. The only mistake they made is they should have had XRP at the top because Trump listed it in that order. Bitcoin maxis are not going to like that. Meanwhile, look at this. Senator Loomis doubts Trump's Bitcoin strategic reserve will happen soon. Senator Loomis says Congress isn't ready to accept the bill yet. what is this for your roller coaster? Well, maybe some of those congressmen have a problem with not knowing who created it. Who knows? Then this guy's having a rough time too. 94 countries with loans have loans with the IMF. All those countries were just sent a message that they can't buy Bitcoin. This is why after 2021, no other countries followed El Salvador. Something stopped the momentum. We now have a pretty good idea who was behind that. So the IMF doesn't like Bitcoin. Well, if you've been around here for a while, you already knew that if you've been watching this show. So what I'm going to do is in DAIXRP.com, which you can join. That's my Patreon. You can join at DAIXRP.com, or you can click below this YouTube video and click the join button if you'd rather join through YouTube. It's the same group, extended videos, no advertisements. It's on like Donkey Kong. So in the group, the first thing I'm going to talk about is, well, what the IMF obviously doesn't like Bitcoin, but what do they like? For those of you that haven't been around, I'm going to show you. All right? Who do they like? We know Trump is cool and down with Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse. Who else is? And I'll show you some other things too. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family, away we go.